Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I'm delighted to speak at the Arab Forum for Sustainable Development 2022, the key regional platform for follow-up and review of the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This year's summit takes place at a critical juncture, from the climate crisis to COVID-19 and the unfolding of a military conflict that threatens global peace and stability. Our world is mired in anxiety and uncertainty. Uncertainty that casts a long shadow of the achievement of the SDGs by its deadline of 2030. Excellencies, we know that there can be no sustainable development without peace, and no peace without sustainable development. It is thus imperative that we bring peace, security, and stability to the people of the world, and that we invest in a recovery that builds back better, builds back stronger, and builds back greener and bluer. This requires not only equitable access to vaccines, adequate financing, and reinvigorating global trade, but also investing in education, protecting the planet, and promoting gender equality and partnerships, the SDGs goals under review in this year's Arab Forum for Sustainable Development and the 2022 High-Level Political Forum. Colleagues, education is a key enabler of all SDGs, an important driver for economic recovery and social cohesion. Statistics on education, however, are daunting. At the peak of the pandemic, 1.6 billion students were affected by school closures, deepening the existing learning crisis and inequality. With the COVID-19 crisis, the world is off track in achieving SDG 4 and its targets. Immediate and targeted action is needed to transform education and to support the societal transformation required. What has become apparent also is the need to invest in enhancing digital capacity to deliver quality education. Excellencies, the pandemic has also affected the achievement of SDG 5 on gender equality. The impact of COVID-19 on women and girls worldwide has been profound and disturbing. The increased cases of domestic violence, abuse, exclusion, and mental health issues in a pandemic context are exacerbated by discriminatory laws and legal practices, biased social and cultural norms, and entrenched cultural and structural barriers to gender equality. We must invest in women's and girls' access to health services and education to ensure their full and meaningful participation towards achieving the SDGs. Gender equality is not just a goal in itself, but a cross-cutting priority across all the goals. We cannot achieve the future we want without half of our population. Dear friends, the ocean plays a fundamental role in our efforts to address climate change, boost economic growth, and contribute to people's health and well-being. Achieving SDG 14 would require concrete actions in areas ranging from pollution and habitat destruction to overfishing and the harmful effects of greenhouse gas emissions. To mobilize action, the 2022 UN Conference on the Ocean, among other intergovernmental meetings, will seek to propel much-needed science-based solutions to start a new chapter on global ocean action. Excellencies, the world has fallen short of its 2020 targets to halt biodiversity loss. We must preserve and protect those on land to ensure healthier biodiversity. This means committing to an ambitious post-2020 global biodiversity framework. There is no other way but to adopt ambition. Excellencies, during the 76th session, a series of high-level events on nature will take place, allowing us to take meaningful action on the environment. The just concluded United Nations Environment Assembly 5.2, which initiated a landmark resolution to end plastic pollution, is one of those events. In the coming months, we will also have the Stockholm Plus 50 conference, the COP15 for desertification, land degradation, and drought, and the aforementioned COP15 for biological diversity and the Ocean Conference. We must strengthen coordination and synergy among all these events going forward, linking them at the same time to the more publicized COP climate conference, which has become a global rallying cry for the environment. And in July, I intend to do my part and convene a high-level Moment for Nature to discuss how to leverage the outcomes of these events and to accelerate concrete actions on protecting the planet. My dear friends, global cooperation and unity are needed now more than ever on the pandemic and climate change to avoid the risk of losing hard-won development gains. The SDGs cannot be realized without strong partnerships at local, national, regional, and global levels. I welcome a stronger partnership between UN country teams and host governments on pandemic recovery and climate action, and on realizing the development agenda. I remain committed to working with member states and stakeholders to pursue innovative solutions and transformative partnerships in implementing the SDGs. With stronger political will and collaborative action, we are ready to deliver results for people, for the planet, and for prosperity. I thank you.